Right, here we are with episode 2 of the Our Smiling Faces podcast, and I'm joined again by Deka. How are you doing, Deka?
Good evening, very good, thank you, very good, good to be back.
Unfortunately, Mark's not here, so if you're tuning in for 50 Shades of Magpie, you're not getting it tonight. Night off. So, since the last episode we've had 2 games. The Birmingham Cup was the game that followed the podcast. And like me and Mark were saying last time, normally after the podcast episode we'll lose a game, but this was different.
2 in a row.
Alright, we've had 2 wins in a row, so we'll focus on the Birmingham game in the Cup, which put out a questionable side, to say the least. Yeah. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's one of them where, going back to something we said last week in regards to believing in Rafa and believing in what he's doing, because if Pardew had done that or McLaren had done that,
well, they did, and it was Helen, wasn't it, at times?
Absolute Helen. But to be fair, if you look at, I think it was nice, it was good to see a few young ones get a go. Obviously Shelby got some time, which was good, because obviously he's been out for 5 games, so he was back, so that was good. But obviously going back to what was said, if it had been Pardew or something, I think the fans' reaction would have been a lot different. But it was a good turnout as well. It was 35,000.
30,000.
Yeah, 30,000.
Well, the club's got it spot on with the structure of the cup games. Obviously offering £10 a ticket, isn't it? If you buy it the day before.
£3 for kids, isn't it?
And £3 for kids. And I think doing that, you've got to remember there's a lot of people complain after the cup games, you know, the atmosphere is pretty bad. It's full of young'uns. But when the price structure is that low, that's some of the only games that a lot of families can get to and that they can take the kids to. Absolutely. And that would have been a lot of kids' first games, you would imagine.
Yeah, well, there was a few behind when we came up. I couldn't get where my season ticket is, that was gone. So we were sitting in the Leazes end, and there was a couple of kids coming up going, like, you could tell it was their first game, so it's nice, isn't it? You know,
well, they're probably buzzing on the young ones when they go to the cup, but most of the time you don't really want the cup game to be your first game, because you know what Newcastle are like in the cups. But they did put, I think it was quite a decent split between your senior players, and you've got the likes of Grant Hanley, who got an appearance there.
Lazar got on, which was good.
Lazar, yeah. Who, there's been a lot of fans calling saying Lazar should be starting the games, but what I've seen so far, I don't think there's much.
I don't think he's quick enough.
Yeah.
I think he lacks a bit pace, like, to be honest, it playing at a real competitive level.
And saying he's not quick enough, was he playing left back?
Because that young lad was in front of him who were copying him.
You've got to think, if you're saying that he's not quick enough, you're really comparing him with Paul Dummett, aren't you? And he hasn't got that much to go by, has he, to beat that?
You're right, like, I think Dummett might be faster than him, like, if I'm honest with you. Like,
well, didn't Dummett, I might be completely wrong, wasn't he like the second fastest player last season or something daft like that? I'm sure his stats were saying he was the second fastest
was
player.
He really?
Aye, because
last season this is.
Last season we were playing Man U at home, and it might be Martial that was running down the wing, and he
dealt with him
caught up
well.
to him, and I think that's put him up to, like, he was the second fastest sprint in the league. So I'm completely wrong there. He is quite fast.
Well, I know what you're saying though. He's not exactly Yedlin, is he? Let's be fair. Like.
But yeah, a few young'uns got out there. Barlaser, I don't even know how you say these young'uns' names, man.
Yeah, I do. Well, especially the bottom one you've got written there.
Finley, he got to run out.
He was alright, Tim, actually.
I'll let you say the next lad's name. What's he called? Ben, so we'll just start calling him Benny.
We'll just call him Benny, I seen him in Eldon Square, like, the next day, with all his mates.
Well, did he have a ball at his feet just doing
tricks?
Just doing tricks in Eldon Square.
He had a cracking fur coat on, though, this jacket with a fur hood on, it looks very, very
He's wearing a fur coat?
Well, he had like a leather jacket on with like a massive fur.
Like Conor McGregor?
Aye, kind of.
He's got to be his head.
He was getting surrounded by young kids pretty much, like in Eldon Square. Like.
But it was good. When the team first came out, I thought, maybe we're getting the easy option out here, like just. But the team was riddled with injuries.
I thought good front up front. I thought he was excellent. His movement off the ball was amazing all night. He took his goal really well. I was a little bit disappointed in the scuff at the end, like. But if that had hit the top corner, if you had a proper connect with that, I know it ended up in the back of the net. Yeah, that's what counts. Yeah.
But the fact that he took it up, turned, He volleyed it.
Yeah.
It was absolutely
Poor
unbelievable.
Mark, and I mean, Shelby found him from that free kick. I don't know how he had that much space in the box, but to flick it over like he did and score. But his movement off the ball all night was brilliant. Really, really good.
Well, we've said this a lot about Gouffran, but he's finally found his level. Like when he first came, like it was impressive. He matched Shearer's record, wasn't it? A goal every home game, was it? 5 consecutive home games.
It was, yeah.
Like
he went through a decent run, didn't he? Yeah. And he was scoring against some decent teams as well. And he was like Chelsea's and things like that.
And like you mentioned last episode, for the fact that we paid less than £1 million for him, I'm probably eating my own words here because I've slated Gouffran for the last 2-3 seasons now. Like
I still don't think I would take him back up because obviously his contract's gone at the end of the summer. Yeah. I would, no matter how well he does at this level, I wouldn't.
You've got to think that he's doing himself plenty of favours though, the way he's performing in this league, and he's probably doing us loads of favours. Obviously we're getting the results, but he's in the shop window, isn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So
he'll get a move back to France for some, maybe Bordeaux again, maybe.
Or something like that. Well, Marseille's just given him a bit of money, haven't they?
Well, yeah, they might have none left if they get involved.
No, apparently they're not going to put another offer in.
They're not. Well,
that's what they all say, isn't they?
True,
that's what Liverpool said when.
Yeah, that's right.
Got 35 million for Garrett. But I didn't go to the game on Wednesday, but you did, Mark did. I think I might be the only one out of all the lads that didn't go. But like I say, a 3-1 win against Birmingham. But I think the most crucial thing was the win and the fact that it was sealed in 90 minutes.
Yeah, extra time was not what we wanted. Because when them scored, we were absolutely cruising really, and then them scored to make it 2-1. And I think everyone was thinking, oh no, if we're conceding, that's going to be extra time, and then that's another half an hour on. But it didn't happen. Again, Shelby did very well for his pass for Gouffran for the penalty was very good actually. He slotted it through.
Oh, that was really good.
4 or 5 players.
It was just advanced from the halfway line, wasn't he, when he put him through there? Really good.
We caught them pretty much on the break really towards the end, and something which is I've noticed a few times with Richie recently is he's doing what I love a winger to do, where when the ball's getting crossed in, he's coming in from the right hand side and like being the last man, if you know what I mean, like slotting it home. Whereas he did at the weekend with the goal he scored, they've had a shot, he comes in from the right, gets the last goal there against Birmingham.
Like he's again the keeper to parry it out.
Yeah, or he's at least coming inside the box. It's an extra man in the box, which is great. Which is very good to see. Like so, and he's obviously hitting a bit of form, which is good to see. So,
well, maybe he's a bit worried that there might be someone coming in to take his place.
Right, maybe reading Twitter like we do.
Like I said, no, he done an article the other day, didn't he, saying that it might be in the programme actually, where he says that he doesn't touch social media.
Oh, really?
Because he can't hold his tongue.
Oh, right.
He's saying the club's got like fines in place for people that respond to fans like in a bad manner and stuff like that, so that's the reason he hasn't got Twitter.
Well, you can see him on the pitch, can't you? He looks, he can wind him up pretty easy, I think.
He's like similar to Bellamy, isn't he?
Yeah, aye.
Like if something doesn't go his way, he's going to nag, isn't he?
Definitely, yeah. Yeah, you can see that. Like,
what was the atmosphere like?
For me, it was almost a classic cup game, like a third or fourth round now, where
flat,
very flat. Yeah. I think it's because there's a lot of new fans there as well, so they're not really.
They've joined the revolution.
Well, maybe. They perhaps haven't got the confidence to start a song off, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? There's not. They literally are just there. It was almost at times you could just see a chit chat, really. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And to be fair, the first, I can't remember the times of the goals, obviously, but before we scored the first goal, like it wasn't really much happening either end. There was a lot of the ball in our own half, just passing it around aimlessly, really, and there wasn't really that much to shout about, in fairness. Like,
was it taking more like a friendly sort of atmosphere?
Yes, I would say so. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
But like you say, 30,000 it's not to be sniffed at, like, is it?
No, definitely not.
Cup game. When I look at Southampton last week, and there was next to no one in their ground. Yep. Like they're doing really well. Like we say with this price structure, like it's unbelievable. Like Norwich found out the hard way when they priced their tickets at 25 quid, I think it was. For
is that what it was? I didn't know, to be fair, but you mentioned it last week. So
it was quite expensive, but I think a few clubs have realised that the only way they're going to get fans in the ground in cups is to make the tickets next to nothing.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Credit the club for that, I must admit.
Another factor of Rafa. Do you reckon it is Rafa just sitting there saying, shall we make the tickets down?
How many pesetas?
Pesetas. I bet you at least another 25 pesetas. I'm sure it was 25, the one with the hole in it.
The hole in it,
used to make a necklace out of it every time you went on holiday. I bet you can't find one person that didn't go on holiday and make a necklace out of peseta. Or chuck it in the pool and try and find it.
Classic kids holiday, yeah.
Right, moving on. Rotherham, bottom of the league. A 4-0 win in the end, which seemed quite comfortable when you're looking at paper, but the first half was edge of the seat stuff at points when we went basically fucking up at the back.
Yep. I think I thought there was personally there was a bit of a lack of intensity really throughout. It's a bit of certainly the first half. The man Mark Shelvey out of the game the first half really in truth. But obviously what we'll get on to, they couldn't man mark him on a free kick, so thank the Lord for that. But he was his shadow for pretty much the entire game. And it was a bit huff and puff really, didn't really sort of create anything. And obviously, to be fair, Darlow completely saved her. Completely. Because we should have been 1-0.
Speaking about Darlow, I think that's the second time he's done that, where he's gone to slide to get the ball and he's anticipated the fact that he's definitely going to take that ball out. And I wasn't aware that is a sending off.
Oh no, it's not a sending off.
It's not a sending off. No. Someone told me in the ground it was getting sent off. I said, well, why didn't you just carry it out?
No, it's not a sending off. Absolutely not.
Well, that's
he was just worried about giving a free kick away in such a dangerous area, maybe. But absolutely not a sending off. That it's his momentum, isn't it? It's his momentum that's taking it over. You can't be sent off for that.
So can you only get sent off if it's intentional? If you come out and twat it?
Yeah. So if there's a kid one-on-one,
just catch it just inside your box.
Yeah, you're off for that, like. But no, not in that situation. It would be a booking, like. But it wouldn't be a red card.
Oh, that's what I said. Actually, well, it'll just be a yellow card. Like, just take it. But
I know it's difficult for him to, because he's doing it live, isn't he? But when I seen the replay a few times, I don't actually think he would have.
No, he looks like he's got a lot of room.
He would have had room, but obviously he just didn't realise. And there was cries that it was actually a penalty, but when I've watched it back,
I think if the player had went down,
maybe
he probably would have got the penalty because he did stumble. But
then
credit to the player for staying on his feet, because there's a lot of players that would have went straight down.
Yeah.
Watch his face. I just signed for Nottingham Forest. Would have. We'll not talk about him anymore. The tosser.
Went to Villa. How much is that? 3 million or so, wasn't it? 3 million, 2.5.
I didn't have too much. But that Darlow save, like the recovery was something special. The fact that I'm not sure which player it is, but he's running the box and you can see in Darlow's eyes that he's thinking, shit, this is in the battle of the night, and he actually stops dead. Then Yedlin just appears out of nowhere, half tackles the player, the player still gets around Yedlin. Then Darlow must think, I've got a chance here. He's running in, I think it's Kieran Clark, is it, that tackles him?
I think it is, and he falls over him.
Mid-tackle, he just stretches, realising that he's going to hit the deck a lot quicker than what he thought he was going to.
Yeah.
And I think, looking back, it's probably that tackle that's like saved that ball.
Which one? The one that on Darlow, or do you mean the Yedlin one?
No, the Kieran Clark one. The fact that he gets to the ground so quick.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Because I think if he had stayed on his feet, I don't think he would have dove for it. I think he would have just tried and stretched.
Because he's already diving. Because he had to jump over him. Aye. Yeah, fair comment.
Yeah, who was on the line? I think Lascelles was on the line, so he would have a good chance of stopping that. But
the eruption when he saved it was amazing.
Unbelievable.
It was brilliant.
But I think Darlow's really quickly became a fan favourite amongst terraces.
He's got a good song as well, so that always helps.
He has. He smiled at it as well at the weekend.
Did he?
Aye. The corner were chanting it.
Checking you out.
Was he? Team. No, he didn't didn't wave an out, but he had a little smile at the corner. But I think the fact Darlow being a fan favourite, do you think that's got something to do with the fact that he's replaced Sells?
Well, he was on to the winner, wasn't he? Immediately.
Yeah.
Because to be fair to him as well, he ended last season when it looked like we were doomed, and then Elliott got injured. Then I thought that was it.
Yes.
And then Darlow came in and he actually done amazingly well. The Cabaye penalty save. That we won 1-0 with Townsend's free kick.
The one where Cabaye purposely missed.
Yes, well, that one.
That's what the back was the same.
That kind of other way. Ever since kind of that moment, he was held pretty high in regard, really. Like everyone seemed to like him, and then obviously, as you say, Sells come in was poor.
That roll that went around the ground when that penalty was saved, the Cabaye penalty was
unreal.
The loudest I've heard in the ground. Like any goal that's
it certainly equalled if not beat the goal that Townsend scored, because that was an amazing reaction. It was fantastic.
Yes, but I think it's the fact that it was Cabaye as well.
Yeah, it was
that got everyone on the feet.
Yeah. And it was Pardew was manager as well, so that was even better. It was like because it was amazing. Pardew was manager. They had Cabaye. He missed. It was just great. It was just brilliant.
We'll talk about the goals, right? Murphy starts again.
Well, his hold up play is pretty good. Like, let's to be fair to him. Obviously, he's never going to be a striker that's going to run in behind or anything, but his solo play was excellent. And funny enough, on the first goal, we took a quick free kick. Well, it wasn't really quick, but we did.
Yes.
The referee called we back. The fans went ballistic, and then we actually took the resulting free kick, and then we scored. So, and it was a fantastic ball. Yedlin made a great run down the right.
I'm not going to lie, I missed it.
Oh, did you miss it? Did you? Oh, nightmare.
I was at the bar.
Were you? Oh, right. Aye, but it was bad.
I never go to the bar. So when you walk in, that goes to the bar and gets a drinks, and I thought, it's my round, I'll go, and I don't need to give out the money, but I thought I'll go to the bar.
Idiot.
No, I missed it. I didn't even catch it on the telly on
Have you not seen? Oh, well, if you try,
I've saw it now.
Oh, right,
but I didn't catch it at the telly on at half time.
It was I mean, the ball was just. To be fair, he tried that ball on the very first attempt at the free kick, and then the referee called it back.
Yes.
And he still managed to do the same pass, which again. I found, as a Rotherham side of thing, you'd be kicking off like really. But again, Yedlin bombing forward. He took it really well. To be fair to Murphy, he took it really well.
Did you notice that the short corners were still there?
Aye, yeah.
But they weren't going right back to defence.
No, they weren't. No, you can see really. I think they're just trying to work a better angle.
Yes.
I think that's all they're trying to do. Obviously, sometimes if two players are coming out to stop work, it's obviously more difficult to do that. So that's where we might struggle a little bit. But I thought there was a decent balance, though. I think sometimes we did just sling it in. Other times we did play it short. So fair enough, you know.
Well, I think up until that Murphy goal, I think we were quite lucky to still be in the game, because Rotherham, for a team that's been bottom of the league, I'm not sure if it's back to what we were saying before, the fact they're playing Newcastle United and they're going to up the game, especially at St James's Park, and the fact that the players were taking photos of St James's Park before kick-off says a lot, doesn't it?
Well, it does, doesn't it? And to be fair, credit the Rotherham fans as well, because they sold out their allocation.
Yeah.
And they were, it was that classic thing where we had control of the ball pretty much in that first half throughout, but even when them did break and get a corner, for example, their fans were just going wild for a corner. Do you know what I mean?
We never seemed to threaten their goal in the first half up until the Murphy goal.
Not that I can remember, no.
And it seemed like Rotherham, they probably had 2-3 decent chances through that first half, which, once again, it's quite worrying.
Worries me massively, to be fair, because ironically I thought this was one of Hayden's better games. I thought Hayden was pretty solid in centre midfield.
But do you not think that's because Shelby's back?
Possibly. But again, going back to what you're saying, that will look shaky. I mean, it's really kind of. I know people always say it's the defender's role, but I would expect our holding midfielder, which I classed him, to be breaking up the play a little bit better. At times, they were just absolutely cutting with the bits. So we always put ourselves in a situation where we think of next year. We're thinking of when we get promoted.
Yeah.
And if it's even West Brom or whoever, Southampton, whoever it is, could really do some damage against us. Like if Rotherham could do that and they're bottom of the championship, do you know what I mean? It's a bit worrying. Like
there was one time in the game, I think it might be later on in the second half. There's one of their players picked it up in the right back position, and he just coasted across the centre of the field towards the left wing, and I was thinking, is someone going to tackle him? He must have went past about 4 players, so they all stepped back.
A couple of players just literally. Shelby
was right in the centre, and he just watched him go past. But Shelby's renowned for doing that at times, isn't he?
Yeah. It's not his game really, that is it? Yeah. But it's still not right though. He's still got to try.
I think just before half time something happened. Someone got tackled and Shelby ran over and started shouting at someone. And he must have realised, oh shit, I better watch myself here. Like obviously with my rap sheet. Aye. And he just picked the ball up and ran away.
Ran away. Yeah.
First of all, I'll just get myself away from this situation just in case.
Yeah.
But I like we say, like half time couldn't have game quick enough, and the fact that we nicked the goal just before half time. And that's just set up for the rest of the...
Perfect, yeah. And we got a goal very quick in the second half, so that once it went 2-0...
Well, everyone said if Newcastle get an early goal, we're
home and dry.
We're just going to whack our
It could have
we could have got the penalty, couldn't we, in the first couple of minutes?
Yes, yeah.
He handballed it twice, and that was... No matter what anyone says, that's a penalty. Like, no shadow of doubt.
I couldn't see it from where I was sitting, but I've seen it
right in front of me.
Right in front of you,
He handles it, then... The first one's not intentional, but the second one... He used his arm to move the ball away from, I think it might have been Perez that was attacking it.
I think it was, yeah.
And Perez straight away.
Was the first one Hayden by any chance? Was it Hayden? I don't know if he tried around him, for example. And then
it might have been Hayden.
Aye.
I can't remember. It was definitely on our left wing, just inside their box.
I think
that's it. It was right in front of the corner. The first one hits his arm. The second one is his arm actually playing the ball like away from. I can't remember who player was attacking it, and it might have been Hayden actually because he appeals straight away, and the referee just wants to know nothing about it. But so far this season, I think the referees at times have been bad, but I think decisions have probably evened themselves out so far for us. especially the game against, who was the game before? Birmingham.
Well, we scored a handball on Saturday, so there's one. We're
True.
getting back straight away.
True. But the game we played before, I can't remember who it was.
Game before the cup game.
Yeah. Oh, who was it? Can't remember.
Was it Brentford?
It might be Brentford.
Oh, Brentford. They had a couple of stone walls.
And they had 2 or 3 towards the end where they could have had it so far it's evened itself out. I don't normally agree with that.
You sometimes as fans, you kind of remember the ones that go against you more than the ones that you just. Well, for example, we just discussed it before. The Perez handball hasn't even been mentioned at all. It's just been totally swept under the carpet. Whereas you imagine if that happened against her.
They mentioned it on the Football League show on Channel 5, and it was just like a passing comment. It was like one, like, if that was on Match of the Day, that they would analyse that left, right and centre and say, I shouldn't be doing this, but God knows why they didn't focus. I'm not complaining, but...
No. I mean, from where I was, I'll be very honest, I just thought he had hit it in.
Yeah.
But when I seen...
It was fast. It happened very, very fast. Was it Yedlin that put the ball in again?
It was on pace down the right-hand side. It was just unbelievable.
Yeah.
Because he actually overhit it a bit, and I actually thought it was going to run out of play. But it didn't, and he managed to get it across and he scored. But even their players didn't even appeal.
No. There was a couple of them around Perez.
They were more annoyed that they had let it in.
Yeah.
They didn't appeal to say it was handball. So
I think we've got to take notice of Yedlin in that game as well. That's probably hands down his best game in a Newcastle shirt.
I'll probably
easily.
Think so, yeah.
He's the first half quite quiet, but I think the full team were underwhelming in the first half. The second half, he came into the game.
A lot of times for me, well, you know what? You remember you go back a few years ago when teams used to play against them. They used to let Williamson have the ball, just so they'd mark everybody else and let Williamson have it because they knew that
he's just going to lump it forward.
Lascelles is that guy. If you noticed on Saturday, especially the first half, they marked everybody else and just let him have it.
Well, the fact I think,
and Yedlin was loads of times was unmarked on the right, but he didn't have the confidence. I don't think to slip.
I'm talking about the times where Yedlin was running through, attacking, and Lascelles just did not spot these balls.
A couple of times.
It was twice, and the fans jumped
because it
straight
happened
on
in
his
quick
back, didn't it?
concession. It happened very, within the space of 5 minutes. The same ball, he could have played it twice.
And the fans let Lascelles.
Oh, they let him know.
Happy, like.
Yeah, they did. Aye. And there would Peterborough's game for me was Mark and Shelby. Let Lascelles have it. Don't press him. Just let him have it because he isn't capable enough to actually do anything with it. Whereas if you imagine if I'd say Colaccini bringing that ball out, personally I would feel a lot better about it because I thought he was quite good on the ball, you know what I mean? But that is what it is.
That's because Colaccini like going on a little wonder sometimes, didn't he? You just start like powering through the centre of midfield and no one used to tackle him. He used to find himself on the edge of the box, not know what to do with it.
But the second half though, he really came into his own, and I thought
it was like we're second team second half.
Aye, yeah. But I think because of the goal we got so late in the first half, it sends you in the dressing room completely different mindset. So it is better.
Second half, so Sammy Amiobi. Where do we stand with Sammy Amiobi?
Well,
what is the reason of him being back here? Is it because Atsu's gone and we're a bit short on the wingers?
That is it.
That is the reason.
That is it.
So could you imagine him going back out on loan before the end of this window? Like last day of the window.
It's a tough one.
We've got a week to go, haven't we?
Well, it's a tough one because Rafa's come out and said some nice things about Manny, which I suppose he's bound to say. He's not going to say, "Oh, he's a load of crap." He's not going to say that, but he has said he's got quality and he can do a job. But if we get Townsend, for example, or perhaps Barrow, seems to be the one linked with, I can't really see why they would keep him if you get Atsu back as well. What's the point, really? I don't really see it. But he got a fantastic.
He did.
I thought it was excellent. It was really good.
That's because he's an Amiobi.
That's true, but I still think at this level he could be dangerous because at least he's direct, but he hasn't got any end product, never has. Yeah, but he's exciting though, you know.
He has been playing for Cardiff, hasn't he? And he hasn't really.
Well, he was at Bolton recently, and he was scoring some worldies, but that was League One, so that's even another further step down. So maybe it's hard to judge, but you know, I just think he's got a little bit in his locker in regards to he's direct, he can beat a man,
and he's fast,
and he's quick, but. You know, as you say, maybe if we do sign someone in the same position, you've also got Atsu, you've got Richie.
How tall is he? He must be about 8 foot tall.
He looked tall. He looked tall when he come on. Like he looked.
Well, who was that kid that was playing left midfield for them? And he was tiny. He had hungry bum syndrome. Like his shorts were so far up his own arse.
I didn't know one of their players. I couldn't name any of them. I was thinking in my head, name a Peter, but I just didn't know them. I was just like, I was checking about the programme, like when we were going down, going nah. I just didn't know any of them.
But I like you probably just hit the nail on the head there. Like with Sammy, he's back because we're short.
He's got It's a shame he couldn't play in the cup game, because if he wasn't cup tied, he would have had another 2 games, because he would have played away and he would have played at home. He's only got a very small window. He had to make an opportunity for himself, whether that be in training, maybe, I don't know. And if he does get another chance, maybe on Saturday, he's cup again, so he's not going to be able to play. So it's another game he can't play. So he hasn't got much time to be able to make a name for himself under Rafa, really, or to show Rafa what he can really do.
And what we've got left of the African Cup of Nations now, a week and a half?
It's not long, is it? I don't think.
I'm sure it's already been going.
I'll be very honest, I haven't checked.
We're in the qualifier. We've into the knockout stage now, aren't we?
And if all our guys are guessing are through.
They're all through, I think they're all through. Like, Congo's just scored there, so there's Mbemba. I'm
still 0-0 Brighton, like.
Brighton's still on. Obviously, Mbemba doesn't really make that much of a difference to the team now, because he's not getting a look in at the minute. It's
Atsu and Diarmi that I just want home, nice and safe. No bus raids or guns involved.
I think Ghana might be favourites to win it. Well, they normally aren't they? They're normally there or thereabouts.
We're by the bet now.
And so are Senegal there, but I don't think is Demba Ba still playing?
There was a video of him on Twitter. He was on some sort of machine, like running back and forwards, kicking the ball and that. So it's only 6 months after his leg got completely halved.
It was horrible.
Horrendous, absolutely awful. Awful. But going back to that Birmingham game, actually, I think you tweeted something. Do you think that was Tiote's last hurrah? Or do you think it's another thing?
I tweeted out, I said, farewell, sweet prince.
I
put the equaliser against Arsenal in there, but you never know with Tiote, because he's out the door and he just appears in training a couple of weeks later, so no one ever knows. Like,
do you think it's because when he gets on the negotiation table, he's just wanting astronomical money in?
That's what it was before the last couple of teams. I think it was a Turkish club last season.
Aye, it was.
Then they couldn't meet wage demands.
Aye.
But was it not China as well?
He flew
over to China and he couldn't.
Aye.
They wouldn't even pay his wage, and they're paying anyone anything.
I think I'm sure them had said it. I mean, obviously it's difficult to know for a factual, but I mean, then we're still going to offer him something like 70 or perhaps 80. And he was like, no, I want 140, 5 Thai brides. Like, I was like, what are you talking about?
Another wife.
Do you know what I mean? Like, what are you doing? Like, and maybe it's the same thing again. You know, he's just asking for too much.
He must be on a decent wage, yeah, like.
Oh, absolutely.
He's got to be.
Well, when he signed, he probably wasn't, to be fair. He might have been on 25, but then he renewed his contract, didn't he, for like... Was he one of them ones where it was like a 6-year up, when we went through this weird stage?
5.5 years, we started giving everyone 5.5 years.
It was like a long contract. So then that one must have been 45.
I think we gave Krul and Colaccini one on the same day.
That's right, the day before the derby, or on the derby day.
Somewhere around there.
So
was that the first one we got beat 3-0?
I think it was. That was meant... I don't know, that might have been the one where...
Amiobi
scored a penalty. No, Amiobi scored a penalty in the last minute. I think. No, sorry, apologise. Parr missed, and then he scored in the last minute. I think it was that game.
Where Pardew started celebrating because we had won a penalty.
That's right.
In was it O'Neill's face?
He was going to hit O'Neill, wasn't he? Well, looked that way anyway.
What a tosser. I loved him at the time, but what a tosser.
So I think it was before that game when we started handing out these, long contracts, should I say. But in regards to the Tiote one, I think he's just going to have to... he might still be with us come to the end of the window. Because I think it looks like it's only China that really seems to be interested.
I wouldn't bet my house on him moving, like.
No, I wouldn't.
When's his contract he must be down to the last 6 months in his, is he?
I would think so.
So we're probably looking at this thing and
we're taking anything on.
Chance to get
and it's a shame, isn't it? Because if you think, like, went to January now, if we had a knew that, or he had a knew that he wasn't going to go anywhere, he could have really maybe, getting in shape and being part of the team.
Yeah.
But he never has, because I think he's always had one foot out the door, so we've just never included him in anything.
Well, the Haydens came straight in and replaced him, hasn't he?
Yeah.
He's a younger model. I know he's not as defensive-minded as Tiote. Like, Tiote, when he first came, he was unbelievable. He done the basics, wiping players out left, right and centre and passing straight to goodbye. And Hayden's doing similar to that at the minute.
He's a bit cleaner, isn't he? He's a cleaner Tiote.
He wins the ball and he seems to pick it up as well. He's not just going and clatter on players.
No, he's all right, Hayden. I think. How old is he? He's only a young in 21 or 2 or something like that. He could be really good. I think if he. I don't know if he'll be with us all that time, obviously, but I mean, he could be quite decent.
And obviously, coming from the Arsenal academy, he's been taught how to play past football, hasn't he? Yeah. You
can tell that. Like, he certainly, he keeps it tidy. He's tidy on the ball. On Saturday, I thought he won everything in the air. Like, in terms of in the middle of the pitch when they go kicks or anything, he won absolutely every header in the middle of the park.
What else happened in this game before we wrap this game up? We've got one big no 17th minute applause.
It took me until the second half to realise that didn't happen.
24th minute, I realised that didn't happen, and that's because someone told us it didn't happen. But that just proves it. Like, we must have stopped clock watching. And like, did something happen in the game
Well,
around that time?
that's
Is that
what I
what
was
Donald
trying-
made the save?
Hey, good shout, No, that's a good...
Did everyone just forget?
You never know, it might have been... 'cause something must have happened to forget. I don't believe we were just sitting in silence and no one looked at the clock. 52,000 people didn't look at the clock.
One of the lads said they heard a few people clap around level 7. But
Right.
I don't even... I couldn't even...
Nothing for me.
Nah,
And I didn't even... Going back to the other point, I didn't even remember it. I can't even remember remembering it was the 17th minute or anything. I just don't remember it.
So do you think this is it done now? Or do you think it's going to come back? Did it happen at the cup game?
It did. Yes, it did. It did happen at the cup game, yes. I did. Yeah, it did.
So maybe not.
But again, well, maybe. I think it's one of them where maybe something did happen in that leading up to that minute, so it was completely...
Well,
whereas if
we
there's
thought
nothing...
Dwight Gale had it in it, didn't we? When Dwight Gale scored in the 70th minute a few games back.
It might be one if there's nout happening, and it's just nout, it'll happen. If that makes sense. But if we've got something decent happening as a corner or a decent dangerous free kick, we ain't going to stand and clap.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's the type of thing. So.
But hopefully, it might sound horrible, but hopefully this is the end of the 70th minute and we'll move on to...
It could be.
Not clapping in another minute, but moving on to maybe what I mentioned last week about the first home game of every season, because like we said last week, we don't want to touch on it too much, but it's getting beyond a joke now. Like, we all want to respect people that we've lost, but we're there to see a football match. It's not a week. It sounds harsh, but...
No, I get what you're saying. I think we covered it well last week in regards to all of the issues were brought up. I think your point of regards to maybe having that minute at the beginning of the season where every single person would stand up and remember something in regards to their own family or whatever it may be, and it would be definitely doing it for the right reason, I think. But it wasn't done, so who knows.
Right, moving on from on-field topics to off-field ones. Transfers. I ran a poll earlier today, which I think I put it on about 9 o'clock this morning, and it ran on up until now. We've got the final result in now. We've had 1,427 votes.
Thank you very much for voting.
The question is, would you be happy with the current squad until the end of the season? So that obviously means no additions in this transfer window. This is a team that we're going to go till the end of the season with. The options of answers were yes, we'll get promotion, or no, additions crucial. Where do you stand? What would you answer to that?
I think I seen it, and I kind of wanted like a third option, sort of saying like, I wouldn't say it's crucial if we get anyone. Like if we don't get anyone, I don't think it's like the end of the world.
Yes.
But personally, I would rather add. I'm more on the fence of I would rather have someone in.
Have at least a couple.
I would absolutely.
In what positions? A wing and centre midfield.
I think definitely centre midfield, but not a holding midfielder.
Attack midfielder.
And
someone replace Shelby if Shelby's not there, because he's not making it till the end of the season without getting banned or injured. I'd be very surprised if he plays every single game for us.
I think finding a player what Shelby does is almost impossible, if I'm being honest, in regards to that range of passing.
Yes.
There's not many players have that, but a player that can generally carry the ball and beat a man from the centre of the park, can drive through, is something that we need. Who they are, I haven't got any names for you, but I'm just saying that's type of player in a winger. So.
Well, the poll results were a lot closer than what I thought they were going to be. I thought a lot of people were going to say that we need addition, because I'm probably more along the lines of what you're saying. We don't necessarily need them, but it would be a lot nicer if we had that option there.
Normally on a social media thing, what I've seen on Twitter, our fans are crying out when the window opens on the day one.
Yes,
we've got to sign someone. So I would expect the votes to be.
Surprisingly, 56% of the people said yes, they'll be happy with the current squad without any additions.
Rafa, huh?
And even 44% of people probably the same thing.
Well, it's nearly a split, but I'm still surprised that them have won. That side's won, because normally, as I say, when I've seen it previously, it's always been, why haven't we signed anyone? Yeah. And you think it's only up in 2 days, man. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And now we're really stretching on. Now it's only a week left, and that seems to me there's no panic. There's no panic setting in. So.
Well, we had a few people to reply to that poll. Matt Milner's one that said that he thinks that we're taking a massive risk in not getting back up for Shelby, which is what we've just said. Yeah. He goes on to say if he gets injured or suspended, we're going to struggle again, which
Yeah.
To be fair, we did when Shelby wasn't there.
We did, yeah, absolutely. Well, you know my feelings of that guy, and so obviously I'm going to stick up for that. Like, but them 5 games that we didn't have him, I think did we lose 3 of them or something like that? We didn't do very well anyway.
Yeah.
So
there's a few more people going. Rob the Bank goes on to say would like another centre midfielder. Don't need any other positions filled. I would probably say winger is probably the next position there if we were going to fill anyone.
Well, especially when it's Townsend.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if he...
Well, Townsend can play in a lot of positions.
Of course he can. I think he can play number 10. He
Yeah.
could play a lot of roles. So if someone of that quality, I think even if you didn't even need that role filled, you've got to get him if he's available, because he's that good.
Especially for the money that's being quoted, 30 million, which is what was sold for.
It's unreal. When you think of what players are going for,
Yes.
it's unreal. Like.
Pete Quinn also says he obviously voted yes, that he's happy with the squad. He said we've got Rafa and Shelby and Gale. The rest are irrelevant. We'll piss the league. Well, currently we're not pissing the league, but
no, we're not.
The gap is opening up between the third place team. There was a 9 points now.
We'll definitely finish in the top 2.
Yes.
I want to finish number 1.
Right. So it's Townsend and Barrow linked as that winger.
Mm-hmm.
Who would you prefer?
Townsend. Obviously Townsend. I put something on Twitter in regards to just my thoughts on Barrow was, let's be fair, probably not many of you have seen much of him. I've seen him a few times, I'll be honest. Plays on the right hand side. He's got so much pace. It's obscene how much pace he's got. Whether or not he might have any end product's a different thing, but if you get him on loan, it adds to the squad. It gives with that pace out wide, and if it doesn't work, you can send him back.
Yeah.
That's looking at the positive. The negative is we've felt that we're quite close to getting Townsend, and now we're getting Barrow. That's the downside.
Like they were second on the list.
Oh, absolutely. I don't know if maybe, and I could be wrong here, I'm not this, but I don't know if because we might have stumbled on the Townsend thing a little bit with regards to actually being able to get him, have we just getting Barrow's name mentioned to maybe scare Palace a little bit to think, actually hang on, I'm going to go for someone else. I don't
Possibly.
know, do you know what I mean?
It's a funny world, the transfer market.
Right.
You don't know what's happening because you've got agents spouting shit left, right and centre just to get their player a bit extra cash for the agents to get a payout. So you never know what's going on. And you've got the press at the minute saying the Townsend deal's completely off. Then you've got the next news outlet saying, no, it's definitely still an interest. Like Newcastle are still pursuing the
Is it
Townsend.
Ed Aarons from the Guardian? I could be wrong with the name there.
God knows.
Ed, someone from the Guardian tonight, says that he thought the Barrow deal was unlikely because they're very close for Townsend.
But the day before we're saying Townsend deal's off.
Well, it was all afternoon the Townsend deal was off, and it was around about tea time-ish when he says it was back on. So
the only people that know what's happening with this Townsend deal are the Newcastle as a club or whoever's dealing with the transfer, Palace and Townsend.
The player himself, yeah, definitely, yeah.
The journalists don't know what's going on. They might have some sort of inkling or by their sources, but they don't know what's going on. They're just feeding us anything to get clicks on the website, basically.
Let's be fair, it's hard. Cast me man back to the summer, but I think the Clark deal, Murphy deal, even maybe the Atsu one, they all pretty much just came from nowhere, because I think we're quite closed book when it comes to transfers. So really, that's why the Barrow one, it didn't shock us as much actually, because I thought it wouldn't surprise us, because maybe we've been looking at Barrow all along in the Chronicle, and people just didn't know. They just didn't know. Do you know what I mean? So. Yeah,
I never transfers are a tricky one, like I just said. Like I never really pay much interest in the players that I've been linked with because no one knows. No one knows.
You just wait until they're holding the shirt up.
Exactly.
I keep a little. I look to see what names are getting bandied about, but I don't really ever think it's that one's a done deal now. You never know. Yeah. So.
Right. I also took another poll online, and this one was about goalkeepers. And I was quite surprised by if you're looking at the goalkeepers and the ages, and I never realised that Matt Sells was only 24. I think he is.
He's the youngest out of the 3. Well, sorry, I know you've got Woodman, but the main 3 is the youngest out of them, isn't he?
I don't know, I've got it wrote down somewhere. There we go. Sells, 24. He's currently made 9 appearances for Newcastle. He was also voted Best Goalkeeper of the Year in 2015 in the Belgian Pro League. Wow. I'm not sure what sort of award that gets you, because the Belgian Pro League. Yeah. It was on Genk, wasn't it?
Aye.
But he did make 7 Champions League appearances. He saved a penalty against Lyon, was it? Like I said,
was it? I don't know.
Saved a penalty, which I think got them a draw, which got them out of the group or something daft like that.
So, like we said last week, and Walker said, he's obviously got something, hasn't he? He's obviously got something in his locker. Maybe it is he's just finding it hard. Maybe he's only 24.
I'm quite surprised at the fact that he was 24. I thought he was older than that.
He looks it.
Maybe I've been a little harsh. Like, looking at his Asian goalkeepers don't come into the prime until late 20s, isn't it?
Well, maybe. I still think you can't be getting blamed for not giving a bit of criticism.
Oh, yeah,
you know what I mean? But how old's the other ones?
Obviously you've got Woodman, who's 19, who's a long way away from making a first team.
Meant to be good, don't he?
Yeah, he's meant to be good, but obviously sending him out on loan is probably the only option at the minute, especially with the variety of goalkeepers that we've got on the books.
Yeah.
Next one is called Darlow, who's 26. I thought he was younger than Sells, if I'm being honest. I didn't realise he's 26.
I thought he was 24.
But
24, 25. So
Darlow's got a lot of experience in this league, so I think his name would have been first on the list for me, on the team sheet. No matter, even when we did bring Sells in, I think Darlow would have been our number one from the start. You've also got Rob Elliott, 30. He's at a crossroads. Look, I've got a lisp there. He's at a crossroads at the minute.
There's a chance. I know Rafa's happy with him, but when he's 30, he might choose to leave because he might want first team football.
Yes.
He'll get a job at the Championship, no problems, I would think.
Then he'll be good at that. He's just like kicked off about Sky. He's just moved house and everything.
So obviously,
where does Rob Elliott stand at the minute? I know he just came back from an injury, but it's going to take a lot to move Darlow out of that squad and Sells, because Rafa's not going to drop Sells from the squad completely.
You're right.
Especially when he's just brought him in for the amount of money that he did. He's going to stick by him. Like, if Darlow gets an injury, you know for fine well Sells is going to go straight in there.
God.
I know.
Let's just hope that doesn't happen. But no, you're right. It's difficult to say, isn't it? I don't know where Elliott really stands, to be fair. I don't know how far he is away from actually being able... He's playing a lot of under 23 games.
Yeah.
How far is he away from actually being available for the first team? I don't know. But for me, he would be number 2 and Sells would be number 3. But thinking how Rafa's probably thinking is, well, I've bought this guy, I believe in this guy. He's number 2. So.
Then, this is also quite surprising. Tim Krul moved to Ajax on loan in August last year. Guess how many first team appearances he's made?
0.
Not one. 0 first team appearances, which I was very shocked at.
It's berserk, to be honest.
He's made 5 appearances total, but every single one of them has been for the reserve. Does that not just scream that that's a complete waste and a loan move for one of our players? Because they're not going to buy him if they're not going to even play him.
I don't get it. I don't know if it's... I really can't understand. I don't know if it's just... I mean, they might be paying some of his wages, I would imagine. Mm-hmm. I don't know if they are, but I would imagine they might be, so that helps a little bit. As long as we got assurances that his recovery would be right, and to help them on that, then we're fine with that.
Yeah.
To me, I don't think he's got... I don't think he'll be coming back.
Yeah.
I don't think. I can't say. And to be honest, it's funny if he went back maybe a few years, I'll be like, I wouldn't get rid of him. But now, I wouldn't have any issues at all. I wouldn't lose any sleep over it.
Well, that was the next poll. The next poll that I put on was, does Tim Krul have a future on Tyneside? The options were, yes, he can fight for his place, or no, we've moved on. And this was another close poll. I was kind of surprised at this as well, because I thought the majority of people would probably say, no, we've moved on. But 59% have said that, we've moved on. But still, quite high number, 41% saying, yes, he should be back at Newcastle fighting for a place.
Well, if you base them on what we've got, you'd have to say you'd rather have them themselves than Sells.
Yes,
absolutely.
Yes. Well, I would rather say Tim Krul's name on that team sheet and Sells loaned out, because he needs game time Sells. Yeah. Especially with him only being 24, he needs to get out and play football, which he isn't doing now apart from the cup games.
So I can see why then people have said that. Me personally, I don't know. To be honest, if Elliott was to go, say in the summer, then yes, then I would have him back.
Yes,
I would, because then you need that cover. If Elliott says no, I'm quite happy to stay here until I finish altogether, well, maybe we don't need Krul, and Elliott might be happy just to sit on the bench.
Yeah.
But with him being 30, he might say, I need to be playing now because I ain't got long left.
Yeah.
If that was the case, I'd get him back.
There's a couple of people. At Mick NUFC goes on and says, I love Tim, but I think we need to make a decision on 1 and 2. Either it's Krul and Elliott, or his pick, Mick's pick is Elliott, Darlow, or Sells Darlow. I'm guessing he's saying Darlow's number 1 and Elliott's back up or Styles back up.
That's probably what it should be, to be fair, I think.
Yes. Was anyone else? NUFC Naylor says, for me, he's the most complete keeper we have. Darlow, excellent shot stopper and has great distribution, but can be rash, which I think Darlow and Krull are probably very similar goalkeepers. Darlow's distribution is 10 times better than Krull's, because Krull's distribution is shocking.
Really poor.
And I would always say that Krull was a very good shot stopper, but Darlow's proven that he's probably up there with Tim Krull, I would say.
I think so. I
do think Darlow's he's probably the best one.
Darlow?
Yeah.
I would say so, yes. It's a strange one, because if you look at that, remember we played Tottenham away and he had the record of Premier League saves in one match.
Yes.
We won 1-0, Remy scored.
The Spurs one.
And,
the
Spurs game. And he was superb, he really was. But I think Darlow's better coming for crosses. I think Darlow's is a very good shot stopper.
Dominates in the air, and he makes you feel, if I was a defender, he would make you feel very confident on corners.
I think he did it twice on Saturday where he came out and just gathered it from nowhere, and it was the release that it gives you is amazing.
If that ball's going anywhere in the other 6-yard box, you know for fine well he's catching that ball.
And I think
what I like about Darlow is the fact that he catches the ball and he doesn't just go to the ground. He catches the ball and he looks straight away.
Yes, he's looking for
who's
to release
going to attack.
Yeah.
And the fact that obviously we've got Yedlin on the as your wing back.
Pace.
Most times he's making a run up the wing.
Absolutely, yeah.
And Darlow's looking for that.
And it's a great weapon. It's a great weapon that we need to be using. Krull wouldn't do that. I also think if Lascelles were captain and Lascelles were guy, that we're going to be. I think him and Darlow.
Very good connection.
Good connection there, which is very important. Yes. And I think I don't see the point in breaking that up. To be honest, I can't really say it.
Right. Well, I think we'll call that a night. We said we'll keep this one short one. There's no 50 Shades of Magpie.
We do apologise.
My cold's coming back. The Lemsip's wearing off. And also, me and Deka's just got one Norwich tickets.
Absolutely, cannot wait.
We're spending Valentine's Day with Rafa in Norwich on a Tuesday night.
Lovely.
We must be stupid. I've also agreed to that I'm driving as well.
Unlucky.
But I am. Once again, would like to say a massive thank you to our sponsor, who is IGC Limited. You can find them on Twitter, which is at IGC_Limited. And their bio reads this. If this interests anyone, I doubt it will, but it might. IGC, International Glass Consultants, provide support, guidance, assistance, as well as specialists. What does that say?
I can't say it from here.
Procurement. Is that even a word?
It doesn't sound like a word to me. Like,
does that say?
Is it? Am I reading it? Really happy that... No, hang on, where am I? Oh, there.
What are you reading?
I was reading the advert for something else. Procurement, yeah. Procurement and consultancy
what does that
services.
Mean?
Procurement. Does that mean it's like... that it's...
We're a really good advert for this sponsor.
I'm trying to think. Like it's like that. The spot on. Like it's like, going to be precision's going to be spot on. Does that make sense? Possibly anyway. It might not be.
Oh well.
It might not be.
Sorry, Steve.
We're ripping him apart.
He's definitely just got this out with thesaurus, hasn't he? A better word for spot on.
Yeah, basically, yeah. Basically, better word for spot on. Yeah.
But basically, they do windows.
Very
like
well.
Not windows for your computer. Like for your shop front, shop fitting and stuff, I think.
Yeah.
But go give them a follow. Even if you just look at the Twitter, I'll put a link on this post. Just click on the website. Just stay on the website for a second, then go off it.
This is. I hope he doesn't listen to this. Like.
No, well, if you click on a website, the more hits you get, the higher it puts you up on Google.
Oh well, fair enough. Maybe he might want people to actually click on it and actually look at it, not just like click on it and just go straight off it. But I'm getting what you're saying. If that's the case, get some more higher up on Google.
Well, if this is just like Billy who sat in his ma's spare bedroom, I don't think he's going to want to get his ma's house kitted out with full frontal glass.
Possibly not. Unless he wants windows on his wall or something, just hanging there.
But if you want windows, go and see Stephen.
Yeah, go and see him.
Right. And we'll speak next time. Bye.
Bye bye.
Love you.